I spent the last 10 years working for myself, building an agency turned consulting, training, and education company, and I've now consulted over 800 other owners during that time. These are my 10 lessons learned from 10 years as an agency and business consultant. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to share a bonus lesson that I learned from my former coach that coached Kobe Bryant and helped him create the Black Mamba identity. Now, before we dive into these 10 lessons, I just want to share that it's these lessons that I believe that have allowed me to design a business around my life where I fundamentally work 4 days a week, sometimes 3. I have plenty of time for my family and my hobbies while paying myself extremely well and still serving my clients and my members at a high level. And I hope at the bare minimum, one of these lessons serves you well and can allow you to have a successful year and build a business that allows you to live your life on your own terms. Lesson number 1 is that you can't copy your way to success. I grew up learning the phrase model and then modify, replicate and then duplicate. And there is something to be said for these things, especially in the beginning. When you hire a coach and you work with a mentor, in the beginning, I do think it's very important to follow the exact things that they teach, which is why hiring the right coach is really important. Hiring the right consultant is really important. While it does let you get momentum and let you get traction, the biggest mistake I see people make is not then modify to their own needs and goals. And the next thing you know, you wake up and you've designed someone else's dream business and you're sitting there kind of wondering why. And the worst part about all of that is more times than not, you're not even happy. You're successful based on the metrics that that person chose for their definition of success, but you are not happy, right? So that is the challenge of now copying your way to success. And I can tell you from my own experience, I have seen many of my peers explode way faster than I ever did that now left their business, sold their business for nothing, shut it down, went into some form of unhappiness, some depression, pivoting, and either went to go work for somebody else, started a completely different business, and or went back to what they were doing, but just designed for themselves, not copying someone else. And in this copy paste culture that we live in, it's really toxic. And I think doesn't create the opportunity for you to have a business that lasts because you're quickly and always iterating to follow what someone else's definition of success is. So lesson number 1 is you cannot copy your way to success. It is great to model other people in the beginning, but you then have to modify so that everything you're building aligns with your goals, your needs, your desires. And that, in my opinion, how I've been able to be in business for now 10 years. And I'm still here while many others are not. And I've been able to adapt and pivot and grow while continually making my business more and more what I need out of life and my own fulfillment. Lesson number 2 is the word agency doesn't mean anything anymore. The marketing climate, the economic climate, they are changing. If you cannot see that, you're probably in trouble. I believe, and it is the alt agency way, that we need multiple income streams to not only get customers and clients, but to keep clients. Businesses are designed for profit, and the job of your business is to make a customer. If your only thing that you can sell is $30, $50, $100,000 a year, and you go do all of this work for them, it's really difficult to sell that in today's market. Like you need to be really powerful marketer, really powerful salesperson, and often have really strong connections. And more, I see many agencies, service providers, consultants that have a ton of expertise and knowledge from the decades of work that they've been putting in, and they're just sitting on it and it's not making them any money. In fact, some of them give it away for free as a part of their retainer when it could easily be another 6 figures in income. So I want you to forget the word agency because again, I don't believe it means anything anymore. The world that we live in, whether you're a creator in the creator economy or you're a SaaS company building a software as a service, there are all these different things in between: consultant, mentor, advisor, coach. And all of these are really just different modalities to transfer an outcome and transfer expertise and knowledge to somebody else. And if you are not leveraging those to your own benefit, I think you are missing out on a ton of money, a ton of impact, and really the lifestyle that I think you probably craved when you went into business for yourself in the first place. Number 3 is to design your field of play. One of my former coaches worked with a bunch of professional athletes, and he shared this story, and I'm probably going to botch it a little bit, but the essence of the story and lesson will be there. He was coaching a professional athlete, a tennis player, and he made the comment that the coaching entrepreneurs is actually harder than professional athletes athletes. And the tennis player was kind of shocked and needed an explanation. And he went on to say that as a tennis player, the rules of tennis were decided for you before you stepped on the court. The lines on the court were already painted. The net was already up, and you were able to go out there and do your thing. You knew how to play. You knew the rules. You knew how to score. You knew the scoring system. You knew what success and winning looked like. But for many entrepreneurs, and I'll say in the beginning, I was guilty of this. Maybe you are too. We don't define the rules, or we don't draw the lines on the field that we're playing, right? And so oftentimes we start playing someone else's game. Revenue goals. You didn't make those up based on your own desires, your own lifestyle goals. You just said, oh, I need to make 7 figures a year because some YouTube video told you, or some person that you follow on the internet claims that you mean nothing unless you make 7 figures. Then you go follow what they do, and you don't understand the game that they were playing. Thus, you don't know the rules. And if you don't know the rules, how do you play the game appropriately? How do you break the rules when you need to break the rules? How do you know which rules to break? I really thought it was an interesting analogy of like, if you played sports, like you just went, and once you knew the rules, you got to go out there and play. But in entrepreneurship, we all fundamentally start with a blank sheet of paper, and we just start going. Like, let me go get clients. Let me figure out how to market myself. And like, there's no, what does success look like? What income am I trying to get? What does my schedule need to look like based on the things that I also love doing besides working? What rules do I want to play by? And what rules am I not willing to play by? Because some people might play by rules that don't align with your values. And so if you don't design your field of play and or your own definition of success, you will just blindly adopt someone else's. And again, in the beginning, that was me. I recorded a video on this channel where I said, hey, I got to 7 figures and it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be, because really I didn't declare that goal for myself. I just kind of blindly adopted that as the only thing that was what success meant. Now, in some ways, I'm blessed that I was naive and ignorant enough to just go chase that. But if I knew what I knew now, I would totally be more intentional with what I was building had I gone back, right? So my lesson here is make sure you're sitting there defining the field of play for yourself, define what success looks like, and look at it over and over and over again. Because when you define your goals and you define what success looks like, you will go out into the world, do your thing. And again, without knowing it, other people's goals and metrics and measurement of success will be thrown at you, forced into your face from the social media profiles that we consume. And you'll be very quick to say, maybe I'm going to change and bend my rules. Go back, look at how you define success, and make sure that, again, maybe some things need to be updated, but sometimes you need to go back and just use it to recalibrate. Remind yourself of what was important to you so that you can continue on without always comparing yourself to somebody else just because they chose to blurt out what their goal and what their measurement of success is. Their measurement of success does not need to be your measurement of success. What winning looks like for them does not need to look exactly what winning looks like for you. So decide and design your own field of play. Number 4 is MRR, monthly recurring revenue, is not the holy grail, at least not the way you chase it. So I've served over 800 agency owners, freelancers, service providers, and most of them want recurring revenue. And while having recurring revenue is great, I think it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors also, because for most service providers, your clients can leave whenever they want, even if you have contracts, and probably not be worth your time or energy to try and go track down that money. So that's just a reality for a lot of service providers. And so having someone subscribed for, a 12-month retainer, I wouldn't necessarily guarantee and or feel like you have that money yet, even when there's contracts in place for most small agencies, especially if your client is way bigger than you. You'll probably get the stiff arm from their legal team or something like that. So it's not the holy grail, at least the way you chase it. It is beneficial to have people paying you every single month. But I think the way that I've seen, again, coming from the perspective of I've worked with over 800 service providers, they think that once they get the client, the work is done. And that just because they signed a 12-month retainer, that means they're going to be there for 12 months. And it doesn't actually always play out that way. In more cases than not, it doesn't end up past 4 to 6 months. And so the reality is that in order to have recurring income, recurring revenue, recurring profit, there are also things that you need to be doing in a recurring way, like behaviorally, tasks, activities, routines, like growing your audience is something that you need to be working on, generating more traffic, more eyeballs to your offers, making more offers to your sales prospects. All of those things are things that can lead to monthly recurring revenue. There are people that I know that sell one-time services that are worth $10K with zero recurring revenue that make far more from people that are selling, a 5K a month retainer with a 12-month contract? Because they sell consistently each and every month new people into their offer because they have lead flow coming in each and every month. They have new sales calls on their calendar every single month. Whereas the agency that just relies on a retainer client and doesn't do anything from a marketing perspective, when that client decides to leave, whether it is at 12 months or at 4, they will sit there and say, oh my God, I don't know where the next client's coming from. And then they hope and pray through some magic of referral or networking that a new client like that will come into their world so that they can not market themselves again. So if you want recurring revenue, it's not just getting clients that stay, which is powerful. You want clients that stay and have high retention, but don't overlook the recurring activities that actually will lead to recurring revenue and income: sales, marketing, content creation, lead generation, things of that nature. Number 5, if you are unwilling to market yourself, your life and your business is going to be hard. The number of agency owners that I work with and have spoken to that are unwilling to be the face of their company when they're making $10,000 or $20,000 a month in revenue, or even $50,000 a month in revenue, and they just think that clients are going to fall out of the sky into their lap consistently because they heard that their service is good, is shockingly high. In today's world, I mean, you've seen the amount of short form content that people are consuming. That is how people build awareness in today's world. You need a way to become known. And right now, for many people, it is some sort of content creation or paid advertising. I don't necessarily see that changing anytime soon, but you need to be willing to put yourself out there to get people to come to you. If you want your ideal clients coming to you, you need to be out in the world sharing your expertise, demonstrating your expertise so that people can say, oh my God, he or she is, inside of my head. I need to work with that person. If they don't know you exist, it's going to be really, really difficult to have your ideal clients coming to you all the time. You could be a master at outbound marketing. Go look on LinkedIn or watch YouTube videos. While outbound will probably always work, the rate of success for most people is on the decline. I personally have never purchased any service or hired any expert that was desperate to get into my inbox. So I read their books. I bought their courses. I learned from them their free content. I went and saw them speak. I asked other people that I respect and take advice from who they paid. And that's how I find experts, right? Probably how you do too. So if you want to build a business in today's world, you need to be willing to market yourself, demonstrate your expertise, and put yourself out there, or else I think business is going to be hard and you'll probably go back to having to work for somebody else that knows how to do those things. Number 6 is the fundamentals always work. Look, I love tools and tech as much as the next guy, but with how many new tools and tech come out every single second, it's almost impossible to keep up. And the number of people that I see, and again, early days, myself included, thinking that this piece of software was going to save my business and be the new way of doing things was entirely wrong. Being able to have a compelling message and get in front of people, the right people, to get them coming to you is never going to be old. Whether that's speaking on stage, creating a podcast, doing a YouTube video like this, blogging, posting on LinkedIn, like those are all ways to get out in front of your ideal people and demonstrate and share value so that people come to you, right? Having a conversation with someone and explaining how you can solve their problem and what it looks like to work together. That's never going to go old. You can do that on the phone. You can do that on a Zoom call. You can now do it in a Google Doc. You can do it from a sales page. Those are all ways to sell. But at the end of the day, we need to know that all the fundamentals work, right? I forget who had this quote, but they say the most successful people in the world never stop doing the basics. The basics will always work. So if you find yourself continually trying and chasing the next shiny object, maybe revisit some of the fundamentals that got you to where you got to, or that you see other people focused on, because oftentimes the things that you see other people focused on the exterior are the new shiny fancy things. And behind the scenes, their daily behaviors are basically the fundamentals. They wake up on time. They honor their own word. They do what they're going to say they're going to do. They do enough marketing activity every single day. They do enough sales activity every single day, or they have people that are doing those things on their behalf. They get their clients results. They repeat, right? The fundamentals will always work. Number 7 is that you've barely scratched the surface with what you can monetize. The number of service providers I talk to that want more business but are unwilling to repackage what they do and what they know into ways that their ideal buyers would love for them to have, because it's not a $5,000 a month retainer or what have you, is crazy. Like, we're in a world where there is so much opportunity to monetize your expertise, to get paid for what you already know. And if you haven't seen the last video, I'll link it up in the description below. I shared 16 different ways that service providers like yourself could get paid and make more money without having to hire a ton more people, without just doing more custom projects and doing more labor, without selling your time for your money, right? So the world that we live in continues to bring us new ways to market ourselves and make money. And I think you need to open your mind and open your eyes to what's possible with all the experience and the skills that you already have to generate incremental income that is simpler, not necessarily easier, but simpler than just going to get more clients, going to work more hours, which leads me to number 8. More clients, more team, more revenue, more isn't a good indicator of success. Money talks, but it doesn't tell me much about who you are. And if you are only judging someone's success by how much money they have, my personal experience is that we've missed the mark, right? There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money that also do a lot of things that you probably don't want your life to look like, right? I'm sure you can think of 3 right now. So more clients, more revenue, more team isn't the best barometer or indicator that someone is successful, and shouldn't be your definition of, in my opinion, success either. Because again, the world that we live in today, 2024 at the time of recording this, almost 2025, there are more one-person businesses that are doing millions of dollars a year than ever before in history. It's never been easier to launch a business and start making money online than it has right now. And if you are stuck in the old way of the only way I can make money is to do services for people, I think you've limited yourself. Number 9 is to hire to buy back your time, not to increase capacity. Shout out to Dan Martell and his book, Buy Back Your Time, teaching me that concept. But it was kind of reintroduced in a new angle. On LinkedIn, there's a CEO coach named Ayman Al-Abdullah, and he made this comment saying that hiring is a sign of failure. And he said, I hate founders who brag about their team size, which we just talked about. You're just telling me that you found hundreds of places where you failed to automate the business. Every hire increases the complexity of your business in perpetuity. It's really interesting because in my line of work and finding other ways to monetize, I see so many service providers that are so hungry for growth that they just keep hiring and hiring and hiring. And because they haven't first streamlined what they do, they haven't then systematized how they get any of that done, that they actually need to pay for more expensive people, more expensive talent, because they're relying on someone else to know how to do those things versus spending the time to streamline it themselves, iron out all the kinks, make it as fast and efficient as possible, then systematize and automate it so that it runs even smoother, so that you need a human to do less things and do the things that a human should be doing and where all of the human impact probably should come from, versus trying to go find someone that is really expensive that can do all of the stuff just because you didn't take the time to systematize and automate it. And again, we are in a time where you're seeing more one-person $1 million plus businesses or multi-million, even billion-dollar teams that are 10, 15, 20 people, whereas before that would take dozens and hundreds of people. Like, spend the time to systematize things and streamline things because you can get more from less. So hire to buy back your time. You focus on making things efficient, streamlined, and then when you're able to offload that to somebody else, then add higher value activities to your list. So give yourself more time to focus on the high value activities, not just to take on more capacity. Because if you hire just so that you can take 10 more clients, but you're still drowning with the 10 clients that you have, your business isn't going to grow that much because you're the one that's going to be responsible for going to do the activities that allow you to go hire another person. So buy back your time as the founder first. All right, number 10, the ability to pivot is the reason that I'm still here. So can you and are you nimble enough and willing to pivot when things aren't working? Now, I don't mean just cut bait and change on the drop of a dime. Like, that's immature. But if you see reasons and where things are going that might require you to acquire new skills, become a different type of person, become a different type of provider, I think that's really important. My story, I left my corporate career in 2014, and almost 2 years, my agency that I had built was in the area of mobile marketing, where I had spent a decade plus really of my focus. I became known as the mobile guy in many circles. I podcast on mobile marketing. I spoke on stages about mobile marketing. I looked back on this channel to the very beginning. I was doing content on mobile marketing. It was really, really hard. The audience that I was going after, they didn't care about mobile like I did. And so getting business was difficult. And I stumbled upon marketing automation automation and I went and got 6 clients in 7 days. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. The pain in the market is real here and it's something I'm interested in, but I've spent the last 10 years being the mobile guy. Do I want to not be the mobile guy anymore? And it came down to, do I want to be the mobile guy or do I want to have a business that getting clients is like allowing me to survive and live a life that I want? And it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go build a business selling things that people want. And then as I was building my agency and I realized that it wasn't what I wanted, but people were asking me for the stuff that I knew how to do, I was able to pivot and introduce a new way to monetize all of that skill, all of that experience. Here we are 10 years later, I'm still in the game. And I really believe that my ability to pivot and adapt has allowed me to have the career that I've had and still be in business today because the world will keep changing. We know that for sure. That is the only constant, is that change is coming. And if you are resting on your laurels or trying to live off the only skills that you have acquired from 10 years ago and are unwilling to go learn new things and apply them in your own business, I think it's going to be difficult to build a business that stands the test of time or allows you to create the lifestyle that you want. So my lesson to myself, reminder to myself, is do whatever it takes to keep learning and maintain that ability and willingness to pivot if and when needed. And I told you, bonus lesson, like I said, I had the chance to work with Todd Herman, who is a high performance coach. You can check him out. Just Google Todd Herman. You'll find plenty. He wrote the book, The Alter Ego Effect. He worked with Kobe Bryant on the Mamba mentality, the Mamba identity. And he said something to me when I worked with him that I think about all the time, because in this world of online entrepreneurship, if you've ever purchased a program or worked with a coach or a consultant, you might have heard someone tell you, or maybe someone did tell you specifically, hey, the reason that you're not getting this outcome is because it's a mindset issue. And so my lesson here is be careful to label everything as a mindset problem. Many times, Todd helped me see this, we're quick to say, hey, it's just a mindset thing. And we almost brush it off. Oh, it's a mindset thing. But what ends up happening when you say you have a mindset issue is what it really does is blows it up to this big thing that is going to take a lot of time to figure out because it's a mindset issue. When quite frankly, you might just need to send more emails or wake up earlier or change some activities and tasks that you do in your day. Oh my God, it's a mindset issue. Well, are you just like not working out every day like you said you would? Because that just sounds like you're not working out every day like you said you would. That doesn't need to be this big mindset thing. Oh, you're not getting clients. You haven't been sending emails inviting people to book a call. Well, that sounds like you just need to send more emails, not that you have this big mindset issue that no one's going to buy from you. And so every time I'm like, oh, that's a mindset thing, or I hear clients now say that it's a mindset issue, I will promise you 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with mindset. It's actually just you didn't do activities or you didn't do a specific task, or you could have done that task better or longer or harder. So be quick to prescribe and label every issue that you have as a mindset problem. Now, there definitely are mindset problems. I will tell you that. And building a business is definitely part mindset, part mechanics. But when you're running into issues, look at all the other things that could be going on that are problems before just saying, hey, it's a mindset thing. And I think you'll find more times than not that the issue and or the thing that needs to be resolved isn't mindset at all. It's you forgot to do something or you need to add something to your to-do list every day, etc. So I hope you found this valuable. These are 10 lessons that I've learned that I think have allowed me to be in business now 10 years later after going out on my own. And if you're sitting here listening and you're like, yes, I'm jiving with what you're saying, and you are not wanting to build that traditional agency and you're like, oh my God, you're right. I have barely scratched the surface with what I can monetize. I believe the alt agency model is the answer for you, like it has been for me and hundreds of our clients. And so if you want to learn more about that, I put together a 33-page case study. I'll link that up in the description below. And if you'd like to apply to work with me and my team to see how we can help you streamline, systematize, and then monetize your expertise, you can set a call with my team in the description below as well. And we'll see you in the next one.